So congratulations on the book. Thanks so much for being with us here on Newsmax TV today.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm a fan of yours and of Newsmax.
Well, I'm a fan of yours as well. When it comes to the U.S. economy, it seems that investors are getting mixed signals. The housing market seems to be recovering, and other signs point to a burgeoning recovery, but yet Q4 GDP data suggests the economy might be contracting. What is your take?
Well, what's happening right now is the central bank in America is printing staggering amounts of money. And this government has been spending a lot of money because they wanted Mr. Obama, what's his name, Mr. Obama to get reelected. So that's still spilling over into the economy, all that money spending and money printing. You know, in December, the Japanese government said, we're going to print unlimited. That was their expression, unlimited amounts of money. So Mr. Obama said, well, I can match that. I'll print $45 billion more a month as well. So right now it's very artificial. We should all be terrified of what's happening because governments around the world are printing huge amounts of money and spending huge amounts of money, and the debts are going up like a rocket. This is going to end very badly.
So the Federal Reserve indicated that it might slow down quantitative easing in mid-2013. The Fed has been on a spree investing in treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, spending about $85 billion a year. How long do you think this can go on for?
No, $85 billion a month they've been spending, not $85 billion a year. I mean, it's going to, how long can it go on? Well, as long as the printing presses run. Mr. Bernanke has said, he's going to keep doing this in 2014 or 2015. Now, the man doesn't know anything about economics. He doesn't understand finance or currencies. All he understands is printing money. You know, he got the job, Kathleen, because he was supposedly an expert on the Great Depression. You read what he wrote about the Great Depression. He didn't write about debt. He didn't write about foreign trade. He didn't write about currency. He doesn't know about currencies. All he knows is printing money. And now we've given him the printing presses, and he's running them, and he will continue to run them.
All right, well, President Obama likes to point to 6.1 million jobs created in the last 3 years. The White House claims that the economy is not in a worse place than it was 4 years ago. What should we believe?
What, do you believe the government? Kathleen, please, if you're going to believe governments, you're going to go bankrupt. Governments always lie. Not just our government, not just the Democrats, not just the Republicans. All governments lie. No, we're in worse shape than we were before Mr. Obama. We've been worse shape than a lot of people. But even if things are better, it's only because the debt has more than doubled, much more than doubled in the last 4 years since he got there, and because they printed a lot of money. Listen, you give me a few $1 trillion, I'll show you a very good time. But unfortunately, somebody's got to pay this debt back, and you know who it is? It's our children and our grandchildren, but more, it's us. This is not a problem for future generations. This is a problem for you and me and everybody watching this show.
All right, well, the President and Congress are headed for a showdown over sequestration. The President wants to raise taxes on America's wealthiest again. Is this a wise idea?
No, of course not. No country in world history has ever improved itself by raising taxes. That is pretty simple and easy to look up. The way you improve your economy is you let people spend. I mean, who's smarter at spending their money? You or Mr. Obama or Mr. Bush? I can answer your question if you can't. You're better at it than Mr. Bush or Mr. Obama or Mr. Clinton or Mr. anybody you want to come up with. No. If you cut taxes, if you cut spending, then people will do a better job.
Now, Jim, you argue that we're still in a commodities market that will only be strengthened by a dollar in decline. Are there any other commodities such as oil or others that you like for the near future?
I own them all, Kathleen. I own all commodities. I own more agriculture than others. They're all going to do well. You know, Kathleen, if the world economy gets better, then we're going to have shortages of everything, all raw materials, all commodities. If the world economy doesn't get better, Kathleen, they're going to print money. They're going to print even more money. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's all they know to do. All over the world, they're going to print more and more money. And throughout history, when there's been a lot of money printing or currency debasement, you have to protect yourself by owning real assets. And you also make money by owning real assets.
All right, what about gold, Jim? Do you still own gold, and where do you see gold prices heading?
I own gold. I haven't sold any gold. I've hedged a little bit, but gold, I mean, the only caveat, two caveats with gold. It's been up 12 years in a row. Now, I don't know of any asset that's been up 12 years in a row without a down year. So that's worrisome. It's overdue for a nice correction, so maybe we'll get it. Also, I see a lot of speculators. If you look at the government numbers, it shows a lot of speculators have jumped into gold recently. That's usually a worrisome sign. And India is now talking about, India's the largest consumer of gold in the world. The Indian politicians are blaming their problems on gold. Now, it's their fault. Indian politicians have fouled up for decades, but now they got to find somebody to blame it on, so they're blaming it on gold. Now, there are politicians in India who would like to ban the import of gold or raise taxes on gold, tariffs on gold. If they do something, that could knock gold down a bit. So I'm worried. I'm not buying it. If it goes down, I'm going to buy more. I'm not selling.
All right, what about the euro? Is the worst of the euro crisis over?
I suspect that will come back to haunt us again. I don't own any euros. I'm not short the euro. I own the Swiss franc. But I would suspect we're going to have more problems. There are serious problems in Europe. You know, Kathleen, they talk about austerity in Europe. No country in Europe is going to have less debt this year than last year. And next year, they're all going to have higher debt still. What austerity? That's not austerity, as you continue to spend more than you're bringing in. That's the same old game.
All right. Again, the book is called Street Smarts, Adventures on the Road and in the Markets. Jim Rogers, thanks so much for being with us today.
I am delighted. I am even more of a fan of Newsmax and The View since I've been here.
Jim, thank you.